Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8Second Gaming, and in today's video, we are going to be breaking down the 5 biggest mistakes that are keeping you hard stuck. And these are mistakes that I see all over the place. It doesn't matter if you're bronze, silver, gold, or even diamond master players still sometimes make these mistakes. But don't worry, today I've got you covered so you can fix these in your own game and start to climb. So let's jump right in, start talking about mistake number 1, and that is using the wrong weapons. Every weapon has a specific niche that it falls into when it does come to Apex, and different weapons are better at different ranges and in different situations. But if you are the type of player that likes to sit in the back and hang out and be the backline for your team, laying down some cover fire, giving your team options to play around, you should be using a weapon that falls into that category. Good weapons for that kind of situation are something like a sniper rifle or a marksman rifle. The 30-30 right now is stupidly busted, so you should be using something like that. But you would be surprised the amount of times that I see people picking up 2 close range weapons and trying to sit in the back line. That's not what those weapons are for, and that is a huge mistake. On the flip side, I also see people that are trying to play super aggressive, picking up sniper rifles because, yeah, they can do some decent entry damage, and if you hit somebody with a charged sentinel headshot, it's going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to make it so that they have to play on the back foot. But alternatively, as soon as you dive in, you are limiting yourself to one weapon. If you are in a close range situation, and you don't have a second weapon to pull out once your first one is out of ammo, you are putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. And even if you are factoring in the assault class's ability to have the faster reload, it still is slower than just swapping weapons, especially when you have an upgraded stock. Really breaking this down and understanding what weapons are good for your playstyle is going to be very crucial in figuring out how to best situate. The best way to fix this is to just understand what kind of playstyle you have. Are you in the back line or are you in the front line? And go from there. And if you don't know and you're very confused on what to do, worst case scenario, just pick up an SMG and an assault rifle. That is good in almost every single situation. And if you're worried about controlling the recoil on the assault rifle, pick up a 301. The 301 is always good, and it's just a solid go-to weapon for a lot of different ranges. It's good in close range because it has a decent hipfire, it's good in medium range because it's an assault rifle, and longer ranges, if you can't control the recoil, just flip it into single fire and take some tap shots at people. It still does work. And obviously SMGs are just ridiculously strong in close range right now, so if you need to spray at somebody, you've got that option as well. But it frustrates me so much when I'm in game and I see somebody that's running an aggressive legend like Ash picking up a sniper rifle, because that's not what you're supposed to be running. That is a huge mistake and you need to stop it. But this leads perfectly into mistake number 2, and that's using the wrong legend for your playstyle. It's basically the same situation as using the wrong weapon. Using the wrong legend for your playstyle is a huge thing that is going to hold you back. One of the biggest things that's probably going to hold you back, actually. And this is something that I also struggled with for a little bit when I first started going into my rank grind. I was a Bloodhound main for a very long time. I have something around 12,000 kills on Bloodhound. I'm in like the top 0.08% in terms of kills on Bloodhound. Bloodhound was considered my main for the longest time. But in ranked, I don't have the Bloodhound playstyle, so I was putting myself at a major disadvantage by trying to force Bloodhound for my playstyle. I am a support player at heart. I like to be in the backline. I like to be holding things down for my team and giving them the opportunities to make plays. Bloodhound does not do that. Bloodhound is there to be aggressive. So what did I do? Well, I swapped to a different legend. I played a lot of Wattson, I played a lot of Gibraltar, played a lot of Newcastle, and I just adapted my playstyle around the legends that fit me better. And yes, I understand that people have their favorite legend. They have a character that they want to play because they like the kit of that character. But trying to force a character into a role that it doesn't fit in is going to keep you hard stuck. It's going to put you at disadvantages that are going to cause holes in your team that other teams are going to take advantage of, and it's going to cause you to lose RP. I'm going to use Ash as an example again here because she's a very popular legend. As a solo queue player, right now Ash is the most heavily contested legend, and I, again, cannot tell you how many times I've seen someone pick Ash only for them to sit in the back line and try to be a support player. They only pick Ashe because Ashe is really strong right now, and they see, hey, Ashe is strong, I'm gonna play Ashe. But then they don't play Ashe properly, and that leads to holes in the team comp, and that leads to positions being compromised and us losing RP. If you're gonna play a legend like Ashe, you have to be able to be that frontline player. You have to be taking heat off of your other teammates, and you're gonna have to be the entry fragger. That's what Ashe is designed to do, so do it. And honestly, these two tips are the easiest things to fix in your own gameplay in order to just instantly start to climb. Once you actually use the right weapon and the right legend, you will 100% feel a difference. Now, just quickly before we move into tip number 3, I want to say if you guys have made it this far into the video, thank you very much. And if you like these tips and tricks, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It really does help my channel out, and it's free. You can also undo it at any time. And on top of that, if you want to see some of my gameplay live, including some of my solo queue or even some duo and trio queue, check out my Twitch. It's linked in the description. I would really appreciate some new faces over there. But okay, with that out of the way, let's move into tip number 3, and this is always trying to be the one to make the play. This is also what the kids these days are calling main character syndrome. These people are always trying to be the one to be the hero. They're trying to force everything, and sometimes that's not the way to make the plays. Sometimes making a play is just letting the enemies make a mistake. You don't always have to force something. If enemies are going to throw themselves out of position to try to make a play on you, let them. Because if you think about it, how many times have you tried to make a play only for you to throw yourself out of position, try to do something foolish, and the enemies capitalize off that? Just really think about it. And I'm willing to bet that at least 90% of you have said a couple of times. And if you really apply that to your own game, just think of how many different fights you could have won if you had just not been the one to try to make the play. If you had just let the enemies make the mistake and you capitalize off of that, just really think how much more RP you would have gained in the long run. But now that you know that, you can start to apply it to your own game and just start allowing yourself to not be the playmaker. And this doesn't just go for the enemy team making mistakes, this also goes for your own team. If you don't have to be the one to make the play all the time, you can start to rely on your teammates a little bit more. And yes, I do understand that this is not always applicable because sometimes we solo or duo queue and you can't trust your teammates all that much. But even in those situations, you can still allow yourself to take the backseat just slightly. If you do that a little bit more, you will find that there is more consistency in your gameplay, allowing you to be able to climb a little bit more. And consistency is key when it does come to climbing in Apex, because not every single game is going to be a huge game for you. You're not going to be getting plus 200, plus 300 every single game. Sometimes you're only going to be getting plus 20, plus 30, plus 40, but those still are good gains because consistency over the split is what's going to allow you to climb and stop being hard stuck. So put this mentality into your gameplay and you'll see that you're not going to always be the one to make the play, not throwing yourself out of position, not throwing fights your team, and gaining more RP. Moving into tip number 4 though, we have tunnel vision. And this is applicable in so many different situations, it's not even funny, guys. Tunnel vision doesn't always just happen in fights. It can also happen when you're rotating, when you're dropping, or even when you're holding a spot for endgame. And trust me guys when I say this, tunnel visioning is a hard habit to break. It's something that even I struggle with from time to time. Because even as a trio stack, if I call something out, sometimes my teammates want to look at it too, so they'll walk over to where I'm holding, and they'll look at a fight that's like 300 meters away that doesn't really affect us, and then we tunnel vision on that, allowing an enemy team to walk on us for free because we're not paying attention. It happens, and I'm willing to bet that it's happened to you as well. But like I said, it can happen in so many different situations, you are really going to have to remind yourself not to tunnel vision. It's even to the point where sometimes I used to put a sticky note on the side of my monitor to say don't tunnel vision. So every time I'd be in game, I would just look over at that sticky note and it would just remind me to start looking around and be more attentive. Now, I'm definitely not saying that you guys have to go to that length because that is when I was playing in ALGS tournaments and stuff like that. So I was trying to take it a little bit too extreme. But maybe once or twice a game, just try to remind yourself, don't tunnel vision, don't tunnel vision, don't tunnel vision, and just try to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings. It doesn't matter what situation you're in, you just have to think about the broader spectrum of the game and just allow yourself to take more information in. This will definitely help you in the long run if you can start to remind yourself about this, because you'll be more aware of your surroundings, allowing you and your team to not fall into so many different traps. But now we can move into our fifth mistake, and that is doing your own thing. Now, this is mainly for solo queue players, but it also does happen on trio stacks, and I've seen some people complain in different comment sections about this. Doing your own thing on a team-based game is a bad thing. You should always be trying to do what your team is doing, and communication is a big part of that. So if you're a solo queue player, just ask your teammates what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, what kind of play style they have, so that you don't do your own thing and that you can start to match their play style a little bit more. That, yes, I understand that can be annoying, because why should you have to match your play style to theirs? But as a solo queue player, you're kind of forced to. It's more than likely that team that you're matched into is a duo, so they're going to have their playstyle set in stone. Match it to theirs, be a little bit more flexible. And I'm being 100% serious here. I have solo queued to masters multiple times in the past, and the biggest thing that helped me was not doing my own thing. I just stuck to my teammates like glue. It didn't matter if they wanted to be more aggressive or passive, because doing something with your team is better than doing something on your own. There is a saying that I heard a couple years ago, I can't remember where it came from, but they said 3 people doing something smart is better than 1 person doing something dumb, and that is 100% true. But if you flip this around, if your entire team is doing their own thing, that's 3 people doing something that they might consider smart, but in the long term, it's actually 3 people doing something dumb because they're doing their own thing and they're not playing as a team in a team-based game. Apex is a team-based game. You have to play with your team. Stop doing your own thing. Stop running away from your teammates. Play together, please. I can only pull out so much more hair from people running away from me while I'm trying to climb. But what do you guys think is the biggest mistake that Apex players make? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys are looking to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming. I'll see you guys in the next one.